Okay. I was ready when it was 30 on the screen already. I was just willing to talk. You know.
I realized, oh, actually, 1 minute to calm down is a bit too long. No? Hello,
I think
Peter.
we
How are
need.
you?
Very good. We have the very interesting day today. Yeah, man. I think you really knock it. Prepare it well. Thanks for this.
Let's say, yeah, we have a very special guest we're going to bring in right now. But first, welcome to everyone to this new interview of the third season of the BIM Cafe. You can see beautiful graphics around us, right? This is getting better, more and more professional and improved, no?
We are testing. We are testing. Each day is a new test for us. So just guys,
Excellent.
if you would like just to tell us the comments also about the graphics, don't worry. Just we can take it. So send us some info.
Fantastic. Come on, let's bring the new guest in, right?
Go. Let's go.
Go. Sergio Muñoz, the president of buildingSMART Spanish chapter. Welcome to the BIM Cafe.
Thank you, Enrique. Thank you, Pierre, for this invitation to explain you better what we do in buildingSMART.
Yes, thank you very much for having us. This is great as well, just to interact. Just to give you some history, we started about more than 12 months ago, just talking about the BIM with Enrique, and for me, was just the first session was really I was learning about BIM because I was completely new. The second part of the session, I realized what the BIM is, and I was start searching for the money in BIM, and then we right now on the third season, right, which we try just to really find what's really just how we can make the whole construction environment change a little bit faster. We haven't found the money. I understood what BIM is, but we want to go faster with this right now. So that's where we are.
Okay, it's a good point.
At the end, if there is no money, we cannot sell BIM in a way. No? So that's why we got this a bit of a focus of trying to find the money. But Sergio also on this interview, he can give us very good insights from the public administration side or the government side, how they use BIM and how they are trying to be educated and implement it, which is also a step forward. No, when the public administration can adopt it, they can push it, and eventually can become something bigger and more implemented on the construction basis around the world. So let's start with the interview, guys. Okay, prepare here some slides for Sergio Muñoz Gómez, the president of BIM Spain. We're gonna run through a small presentation with lead by Sergio, and then 3 main points we draft here. buildingSMART, we call it a place to establish a digital construction. So what is the activities of this organization? And then 2 of the main 2 topics that they come from buildingSMART, which is bringing it closer to everyone, and digitalization for the public and the public administration, how those things are related, and what is the role of buildingSMART Spanish chapter on this case for the public administration and making it more digital. So Sergio, I give you the floor. If you want to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, Enrique. So I'm Sergio Muñoz. I'm telecommunications engineer. So in fact, I'm not a civil engineer or an architect. So I'm an outsider maybe in this field. But it's true that I started to work in the field of exchange of information in the construction sector 20 years ago. So this is my approach to building information models. So I was working with IFC schema, seeing how to introduce some technologies to the construction site. So and this is how I landed to this field, and since then I follow in this field, and that's a very short introduction. But it's true that since I think that 10 or 12 years ago that we founded buildingSMART Spain. So I've been leading the initiative or supporting the initiative with other people, and that's not my so I work as being consultant too, but I spent part of my time for buildingSMART Spain.
Very nice, and I think this is the I can see Sergio. This is the common pattern really coming to the construction transformation world is coming people from the various technical backgrounds, because I think the civil engineering itself was really fast in terms of the adoptions of the computer added systems, so the CADs and CASs and everything. But the other industry went much faster. The telecom was example, and I think we can just take a lot of the good practices from them into the BIM. So that's interesting. In the parentheses, I think, so we can talk more about the BSS and OSS than about the BIM. So in terms of the technology, but okay, let's try to focus on the BIM right now.
No, I just to add something. I don't like to spend a lot of time discussing about the meaning of BIM word. So I think that it's a very different concept to many people, and probably the most important is that is one acronym or one word that aligns many initiatives in order to digitalize the construction sector. So that's the importance. So many times we are talking about BIM, but really we are not talking about modeling. We are talking about how to introduce digitalization in the construction sector.
Exactly. Fantastic. We are in line.
Okay.
It's good also coming people from the IT field who are people who are more used to work with the technologies, coming to the industrial sector where civil engineers are more, we are more not as developers you are used to use those tools. So maybe your profiles, because Peter is also IT engineer, they can bring us the utility of these tools for the construction finance.
Yeah.
Let's hope that
we have many heads right now. So yes, I'm just trying to be converted to the civil engineer, but I think I need to do the studies because I still don't know how to do the calculation of all of some important things. So
for that, we have the architects and the civil engineer. We did that, but we need your help, guys, from the IT world to make digitalization here. So
right.
Let's start. First thing, Sergio holds the role of president of buildingSMART Spain. We had already here people from buildingSMART Spain, like David Delgado. You probably know him, also Sergio, and also Emmanuel Naschit from France, buildingSMART France, and other other guests who tell us about the role of buildingSMART. But if you want to put just a few words for people who don't know what is buildingSMART, there is some main points, but to give us a brief general idea about what you guys do.
Well, I want to introduce firstly probably buildingSMART International. So buildingSMART International is a non-profit association. It's an open association, and who tries to to digitalize all the construction sector based on open standards. So basically, is this. So it's true that that kind of associations needs the support of local people. So, and in the model of buildingSMART International, there are a lot of chapters. I think that currently we are 30 chapters around the world. Yeah. So, and what we do in the chapters usually is trying to explain how to apply or how to adopt these open standards to the real needs, to real cases. So, and that's the best explanation, I think, for what we do in buildingSMART Spain. That is very similar, I think, so that what they do in other buildingSMART chapters in France, in United States, or United Kingdom, for example.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Here on the one of the main things that draw my attention when I was preparing all these slides, like the composition of the actors inside buildingSMART. No, it's a huge list. It's basically everyone involved with the construction. No?
I think that's the most important part of buildingSMART. So because I don't know if you know exactly the meaning of the word standard, but something is a standard when it has been defined by all the parties. If not, it's not a standard. It's the point of view or only one part. So for that, it's very important for buildingSMART to get into the same table all the stakeholders. So we have owners, investors, contractors, architects, engineers, technological companies too, the software vendors, the hardware developers too, public clients, manufacturers of construction products, universities too. So I think that we have all the stakeholders in the same table in order to put in common their needs, their requirements, their solutions, and trying to define the same language to exchange information between all of them.
Yeah, but Sergio, one of the things which I struggle a lot, when you have so many actors, it's so difficult to get the consensus, right? Because if I am the manufacturer, my objective is just to produce as much as I can with the biggest margin and delivery to just the shortest, from the logistic, the shortest distance. If you're the architect, you really would like to have your vision and to deploy it, and you can take a wood from the different part of Asia just to transport into the place, etc. So I hear what you're saying, I understand it, but I think it's really difficult, and it's just, I'm not saying impossible, but it's just really difficult to build this something like a coherent standard for everybody, right? Too many agendas.
Yeah, well, I think that it's not the same to have something that all the parties are agreed, that to have a consensus that many or the most part of the parts are agreed with that. That's something important for us. But anyway, for example, we make an activity in our chapter in buildingSMART Spain that I consider is really interesting. So we make some workshops with only two different parties. So, for example, with contractors and clients. So it's true that client want to save money and contractor want to earn money. But we have to find the middle point between them, and it's very important to take or to have an holistic approach with all the life cycle of the building or the infrastructure as a main reference for that. So and it's curious because I think that at the end both parties want the same. So it's not too difficult to find these common points and the common interest for them. And I think that all these parties are now in the same position because both are trying to digitalize their organizations, big organizations in many times, and are not easy. So both sides want to be aligned in order to be successfully in his project, in order to how to introduce building information modeling, for example, in his project. So I understand that the interests of each party are different, but if all are thinking in the success of the project, so at the end we will find the common point.
Okay. No, you're right. I think I agree. Of course, there is also the conditions, the border conditions, which are different, right? So just if you're only one supplier of the one things which exist on the market, you will not really care if somebody likes your system or not. You will just sell it because you're unique and you have the monopoly for the products. And of course, from the other side, if you have the big construction company, they will tell you what you're supposed to do, right? Because they will say, no, I like your idea of having common process, but my name is, I don't want to just name the company, but my name is one of the third producers, one of the third construction company in the world, and use my standard. Okay, so yeah, no, I hear it.
Yeah. So that's right, but I think that something that we achieve in buildingSMART is to create a very friendship environment. So we have created a big community of people, because at the end there are people. So we are thinking in very big contractors, but there are people behind of these big companies. So, and that's very important to create the good environment to discuss, to exchange point of views in order to achieve this consensus.
Mm-hmm.
So BuildingSMART is acting as a mediator, no? Or the parents within a fight between two siblings, right? Like trying to find this common ground, as Sergio is saying. And one question I got, Sergio, for BuildingSMART: do you approach those manufacturing companies, contractor companies, or they come to you?
Well, I think that currently BuildingSMART is a well-known brand, and big companies know about BuildingSMART and they come to us. But it's true that, at least in Spain, 10 years ago, we needed to go to these companies in order to convince them to be here, and to participate with other companies, with other competitors. So that's true that they are in the same table that other companies that make the same. So, but it's important, I think, to convince them that the most important is to make bigger the BIM market. So when I say the BIM market, I say that all the projects, the construction projects where you are using the BIM methodology. So that's the most important, I think. So, and they will take some benefits later of that. But it's important to be aligned, to work together first. And fortunately, currently, big engineering firms, big contractors, or big software vendors, they come to us and want to participate with us in our activities.
Sorry, Enrique, just one of the things which I see as a risk in the whole approach of building the standards and just to exactly the influence of the big companies, right? I'm just you see the last 3 months really, about the open AI. Everybody talks about AI for the years. I remember when my university we talked about artificial intelligence. When in the chat GPT just changed the world in the 3 weeks, right? And why? Because it's open, that was not standard, that was just really just easy to access. And everybody's saying, wow, it's just, it's not good, but the people are just getting it. I'm just thinking why we are just not progressing on BIM in the same way. Why we just not just let's open to everybody. Let's just don't go for the big vendors. Let's make it sure that it's just available to everybody. I'm not sure if it's for free, because it shouldn't mean, I don't know. I'm just still don't know the model, but I'm struggling. Why in the construction we are 10 late with behind all of the other markets?
Yeah, you're right. I agree, Piotr. I think that we have analyzed many times why the construction sector is in the low part of productivity, of digitalization. Yeah. So and that's right. So I think there are two main factors probably. So it's a very traditional sector. So it's not open to innovate, mainly because when for example, if you want to build your own house, you ask to 3 different architects maybe in order which is the cost to make the design, and probably you will contract the cheapest. That's what happens mainly in all the contracts during the same project. So it's not easy for a company to innovate, to invest in the innovation, if the most important thing is always to which is the cost of their process, which is the cost of the project. So and I think that this is the main barrier in order to introduce innovation, new technologies. So not only BIM in the contractor sector.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for this clarification, Sergio.
Yeah.
We're talking about money, so everyone is looking for to save it and keep more on the pocket. It's always hard to find.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we close this
no,
chapter.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yes, tell me, Sergio.
It's true that everybody wants to save money. That's true. But another important element is when you are going to save money, because everybody wants to save money now. So if we are considering that to introduce a new methodology in your process, so you will need to invest fundings in order to training your people, in order to change your process, in order to buy new software tools. So and when you are going to recover your investment, so I think that it's not easy to take this decision in the construction sector, because the people need to recover the investment very soon, very quickly, and it's not so easy to. I think that we can say to an engineering firm that if you introduce BIM in your methodology, you will save a 20% in your process in the next 10 years. So I think we can say that. So no,
Yeah,
that's
we
not
know.
true, really. Yeah.
Yeah, we went through this for the last year for a 6-month discussion with Enrico, different guests. We haven't found any single dollar, to be honest. So
Yeah, sure, of course. So that's true that if the clients demand, for example, demand BIM, so if you don't do, you will be out of the market. That's true. So, but it's not really easy to find exactly when you
yeah.
are going to recover your investment. So, and I'm not talking only about BIM. I'm talking about anything in the construction sector. So, because if you are pushing I'm going to put a very simple example. No, you know that the Football Club Barcelona is going to renovate his stadium, and they have been working in the project, analyzing the project during several years. A lot of big contractors. But finally, the contractor who has won this tender is the cheapest offer. So, okay, maybe it will be the best offer. I don't know. But who has won? The cheapest offer. So really, the many companies in the construction sector take their decisions thinking that they need to make very cheap offers, because if not, they are out of the market.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think the drivers are still not there, but from the other side, that's we have the last week we have the big debate with one of our friends talking about the do we, about the pricing and about the stuff what you're saying right now. And I think the driver here is that most of the construction companies are noted on the stock exchanges, right? And all of them, they need to show the profits. Because if they're not showing the profits, the CEO and the CFO and COO and all of the C-suite will be fired, right? And that's the reason why they're just pushing towards profit. They're not talking towards, how to sustain this business for the next 20 years, but how to generate the profits and the bonuses, right? So, but we're touching completely different and fundamental part of our business models in terms of the capitalism and the way how it works. But I think that's, when you look at and I have the couple of the very good friends who are just running the very successful family-owned companies. Some of them are just 60 years old, 70 years old as a company, and this is like a third, fourth generation. They don't have this dilemma. They have this dilemma how to make sure that, like, my company, because we survive already 50 years, how it can survive another 50 with the good wealth for the family. And this is the companies who are just also 20,000 people or just making the good money, etc. But the concept of it, it's completely different, right? And just and I don't know which is wrong, which is right. Again, but that's not about BIM. This is about the world, how is built, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at sorry, Enrique.
No, go on, Peter, go on, please.
So when you talk about the BIM, okay, we talk about the money, we talk about the process. Right now, we see with Enrique another wave of the big software companies trying just to attack the market saying, we will be owning the data, we will be owning the process. So how you just try just to push back to this guy saying, no, you not own the data, especially software companies, and it just we know the Google use all of the Google Maps, and they can just even be better of plotting and position than any other companies. We have some others who are just able to give you some more extra. How you can just use the power and make it sure that we can just grow BIM? Is there any idea from your side how we can just push back a little bit on this?
Well, no, I don't have an idea about it, but it's true that I miss probably the big IT companies. So I'm talking about Google, Microsoft, that kind of companies. So it's true that they are not, at least they are not apparently in the construction sector. So and I miss them. I think that it will be really fantastic if they become to this sector. But I see that now another kind of technological companies, like for example Siemens, that kind of companies that manage buildings, that manage infrastructure, are not in the modeling side probably, but are in the management part of the built assets. They have become in the last years to our sector, and they are pushing really a lot, because I think that they have seen exactly which is the power of the data, and the power of the data not for designing phase, so the power of the data for all the operational phase. So, and I think that this is the most important change from the technological companies in the last 5 years.
Very good. Now, I think you're right, but this is again goes back to your point. I want to save money now, because this is they saving if they doing the operational part of the building. So after the construction, commissioning, and just delivering the building, they start operating in for the 10 years, as like Siemens or like some other big companies. They can gain the money now, because if they know if they will be able to replace the door in half an hour, they will not pay the penalties, or they will, etc., etc. So that's the way how they just try to generate the profit. So I think the money still, we need to still talk about money, Enrique.
It's totally about it. And one thing that Sergio also mentioned about at the end, the tenders are won by the company who offer the cheaper services. We don't really think, me, for example, as the one who put the tender, you don't think about the quality of what I will get. I just want the cheapest. If I can save a couple of million euros, it will be great, right? But also, we are used to, on the construction industry, that the tender, the offer you propose, it's never in time and in cost the one that actually happens at the end. So you can propose a tender of 10 million, but then at the end it will cost 15, but everyone knows it will raise. So it's kind of not officially agreed. So that's why companies can also, without any burden, saying, okay, I'm going to propose 5 million less, because those 5 million I need extra, it will come for over cost or overtime, blah, blah, blah. And this is something that we need to change with the digitalization. I think is the main thing. You don't accept on any other industries delays or changing of budgets. Pretty much, I would say 95%, 99% of all the projects. And it's very sad. It's very sad that it comes implicit with the decision of making a construction that your cost and your time will always increase. It doesn't matter how big the scale is. Of course, it will scale more in time and money, but it's always there. So you can just say whatever, because at the end you can change it. It's like legit.
Yeah, that's right.
But why this seriously is like this? I'm surprised. If I will do this kind of contracts on any other IT system delivery, I will just never not be able to finish these things. It's just wow.
Also, me as a company, I will be ashamed to ask my client, hey, at the end I told you 10, but it's gonna be 15. Okay. So how it always happen?
Now, I think it's a combination of two factors. So probably the first factor is the budget estimate by the client, that many times is very low. So in fact, in Spain, a lot of public tenders currently have no offers, because the initial price is quite low, and companies know that currently the material rows are increasing the price, so they prefer don't work that to lose money. That's true. So that's probably the first factor. And the second factor is true that many companies, they think that, okay, during the project, I will be able to say my client, I had some needs in order to make some changes, so there are some over cost that you have to assume, and for the client maybe it's normal. No, I know there are contracts that you have seen it, but then begins a negotiation between both parts, and finally the cost is bigger than the initial estimated. But it's true that it's very sad to know that. So that's probably one of the most important things that we have to change. And I'm going to introduce another element. So I saw an statistic some time ago about that the 95% of the information that is delivered at the end of the construction phase in the as-built, for example, the 95% of this information is not reviewed or queried anymore. So probably because this information is not in a open data, maybe, so you don't have tools to open or to access this information. So maybe this information is not it's not totally real, but maybe it's not exactly photo of the building or of the infrastructure. Maybe they have been is the information generated in the design phase, but you have introduced many changes during the construction phase, and those changes have not been reflected in the information in the as-built project. So but really this information is not used later for the operational phase. So, and that's really important thing that we have to change.
So Sergio, because you have the big experience of the Spanish and international market, do you see any big changes or any big innovation coming in the next 6-12 months into the market? Anything which was worth to sharing with the people around, like something breakthrough coming?
Okay, I think that you have introduced before how the AI is impacting in many sectors. So I think that something that that was the probably the origin of the birth of buildingSMART was how to connect the machines. So how to connect the tools, how to connect, how to exchange information between machines. So it's not about how to exchange information between people. So it's about how to exchange information with machines. So we are viewing how now many of the processes are becoming automatic processes. So we need to improve the exchange of information without lose information. And I think that that's the most important that currently buildingSMART is working, not only in the IFC data model, like the main language to exchange between the different tools. So we are working in how to exchange not only the building information model. So we are working in how to exchange the delivery specifications. We are working in how to define the user requirements. We are working in how to connect the different classification systems. So we are working in different languages in order to exchange better information during all the process in a project.
Okay, no, I think that's very important. I think to see this because I think this is the big trend really coming into our environment. The exchanging between information, I think, and how to really make it better. I like it very much. It will be more difficult how to make it sure that it's correct, but that's fine. We will figure out.
I want to sorry, Piotr, to put you an example. So I know that, for example, some engineering firms are worried about AI because maybe in some years they are needed to make the design of a bridge, for example, because you can say to your tool, please make me a design of a bridge with these requirements. So I understand that part. But for example, we are working in how you have to define your requirements in order to be a very clear requirements, and those requirements can be understood by a machine. So that's important too. It's not only how to standardize the information of the building model. So we need to standardize how to exchange information in all the other process too.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's. But one of the things which AI will not bring it's also just this invention part and in imagination part. So I think if you will just say like this, build me a bridge for this, you will have like a Europe building of the same bridges across all of the across all of the country. So forget about Paris bridges, okay? Forget about all of the nice bridges and just Porto Bridge, right? Built by Eiffel. Come on, just forget it. You will have the same one coming.
It's very interesting what Sergio said about learning and using many languages, because I think now we on the construction center in general in life, we have already used on the process of using the technologies to communicate between ourselves better, and accommodate environments and things online, blah, 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 blah. And now we're on the phase that we need to learn how to communicate humans to machines so they can do our work and automatize it easier. And this is the hardest part, like this intelligent, emotional to learn about all of how to communicate with the machine exactly with the design, because at the end they are machines, so they're going to think logically. We think about the other day, I was watching some videos about this machine who play chess, and you can just train with them because they are unbeatable. But they will always have this factor of human perception or human brain or whatever that cannot be read by the machine. So this is the thing we need to know how to transmit to them, so they can also generate our work in a very good way. Not only in construction, in general in life, right?
No, I like this idea as well, Enrique. But I'm just thinking that everybody will be wearing the same sweaters as Steve Jobs in the next 10 years, because the AI tell them this is the most intelligent people and more successful. So everybody will start wearing it. So anyway, I'm worried a little bit for some of the part of the population, but that's okay.
Well, good. Well, we start talking about many different things. Let's keep going a bit with the slides. We prepared this one as a slogan. Everyone already knows, as Sergio explained very well, that in Spain at least, if you want to go through digitalization in the construction industry, buildingSMART will be your perfect ally. Also associate to knock your door and say, hey, help me out with this. We want to establish more digital and nowadays tools. So a question direct to Sergio as a head of the organization. How do you promote or what are the activities that say divulgation? I tell here what does activities that buildingSMART Spain for BIM divulgation in the country?
Yeah, I think that probably a very important topic for us is to make it easy. So to explain that to change the process, to use BIM tools, to participate in a project with other parties that are using this methodology, it's not it's not difficult, and we try to share a lot of best practices, to make infographics, to be very didactic in order to make it easy. So I think that that's the most important thing we try, because we know that it's not easy to take the decision, for the decision makers to change, that they have a lot of doubts, and we try to put them very easy, in order to take the decision to innovate.
Mm-hmm. So how you involve people with this? You said that you're organizing workshops, etc. If I am just a small company in Spain, which I would like to, and again, I am the mama and papa and building the frames for the windows in the special form. How I can just join you guys and how I can just make benefit that I will just learn what to do with BIM. What will be the best way?
Okay, so I think that what we make in buildingSMART Spain is to have a very active community, with people very open to collaborate, very open to learn too. So I think that everybody wants to learn and wants to share their knowledge, and that's important. So you don't have to keep your knowledge and only taking knowledge from other people. So it's important to exchange knowledge between all of us. It's true that probably some of the actors have a very high maturity level, probably another very low maturity level. That's true, but I think that the most important is to be open to learn and to exchange information. So we need to give, and in order to receive later, and that's the way that we try to be attractive to everybody. So that's true that we are okay. We are a community. We are not consultancy. We are not implementers. So we are not trainers. So you can find that kind of services in the market. So what we try is just to hear the barriers, the problems, to put in contact with other people who can support them. To when we, for example, when we receive many questions about the same topic, we see that there is a need in the sector, and then we need to make a guideline, to make a workshop, to make any kind of activity in order to put some light in this topic, for example. And that's what we make. So we hear the sector, we hear their needs, and we try to get the best experience and the bad experience too, from all the people that we have in our community. And we make infographics, we make videos, we make events, we make guidelines, very in a very simple language. We try very clear with examples in order to be understood by the mainstream.
So if I rephrase it, if I would like to learn on the, what I supposed to do, really just because we talk about it, that my company will disappear in 5-10 years because I'm not using the technology and I'm not very capable of doing technology, I can join you, and then you will connect me with the people who already went through this part, who already has some of the ideas, who can just share their knowledge, how they did it. And of course, I can also use some of the as you mentioned, the webinars, the questions, to really just to go closer to it. But the idea is really just to share and to help the people to go on this next maturity level on the BIM scale.
Yeah, exactly. So we try to give some responses to all the why questions, and about the how questions. We say, okay, you have here a lot of people that started the same process 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So please contact with them, and I'm sure that you are able to innovate too.
I think, Enrique, we found the right person, because I think Sergio, he knows why we need to use BIM, because he said if the people asking BIM, so why we still haven't found the answer why we need to use BIM, Sergio, to be honest. So it's after a year and a half.
I am convinced it's you the hard one
It's
to
not a question.
convince.
Yes, I'm convinced too, because we're doing it. But the people are coming, and Enrique, that we have the guys who are coming and asking, okay, can you help us to do the BIM? And etc. So let's go for it. Why you do this? I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so why are you coming to ask us? Because everybody talks about it. But do you have any need? No, I don't have any need. I just everybody.
My neighbor is doing it. So this guy doing it is going pretty well. So, but no real implication behind.
And it's true that each type of a stakeholder have different answers to that question. So I need to find different answers to the why questions, because it's not the same for the client, it's not the same for the contractor, it's not the same for the architect. So BIM can give different benefits to each of them, not the same benefit. And I always say to architects or to contractors that they say, okay, but I do only because it's a demand from my client. So that's true, it's a demand from your client, but please try to find your own benefits, because you can find your own benefits for you. So it's not only another requirement in the checklist. So maybe you can find some benefits. So
but that's a very valid point. I think you're doing in the right way, because I think that's some of these things which really drives, and we saw it with the couple of guys in the previous seasons, right? We are saying that we need to have this particular structure of BIM because it will help us to go faster, and that's really just starts to getting into the extra benefits for the contractors, for the manufacturers. I think that's really important, and at the end, one of the things is speed is one thing, of course. What we see right now coming for the last couple of months is also the eco-responsibility. But it's just not, it's just more serious than we think, I thought, really. So just really seeing the green part, asking the guys are from the construction asking how you create your material, how many kilometers I need to have it on my side. Do I need to have go 3 times around the planet to arrive, or just is only like 500 meters? And this kind of questions with the carbon emission, etc., which was like 5 years ago was a big words with the COPs 24, 28, whatever, the big agreements. Right now it's becoming very, very important. The people asking the questions, saying, prove to me that your material is ecologically friendly, right? Sorry.
No, there is a very important statistic about this, or related to this, is that almost the 40% of the materials that arrive to the construction site finally are garbage. So
that's not a very good statistic, to be honest.
No, it's a very good statistic in order to know that we are not managing very well the materials. So we don't know exactly how many materials do we need. We don't know exactly when we need to receive these materials. So we are not managing well. What I'm sure is that the cost of these materials that are garbage finally are paid by the client.
Of course.
So it's true that we are talking about the overcost of the project. So a very big part of this overcost is due by a bad management of many things, like, for example, the materials in the construction site. So if we take into account not only the money, so the impact for the environment of this very huge quantity of materials, probably we need to change a lot of things.
Yeah, no, just I try to visualize what you're saying in terms of the 40%. Imagine that, if you go to the airport, only 60% of the flights will go and 40% will fall down, right? I'm just I think nobody will be flying.
No, it has no sense. That's true.
For me, there is an answer of one of our questions last season, Peter. Where is the money? So I always defend that the money is already there, but we are not using it properly. the amount of money that the construction moves. So this 40% that Sergio says of, I don't know the statistics, but the X% of overcost by default on a construction project, this is the money which is already there. But with the technology that it's hard to convince. He's very hard to convince.
No, Sergio, I like the statistic 40%. You know, I think we can share it with our viewers as well, the source of it, because I think it's pretty important to make sure that we can do this. But you know, if you look at any other domains, you know, just again, the planes is the one. The second, the hospital. You will not go never ever to the hospital if you know that you have only 60% chance of survival, right? I'm just come on.
It's crazy. I don't remember if it's from McKinsey or from Boston Consulting, but I can share with you the source. But this, I think it was a 37%. So, and it's really crazy. It has no sense in other sectors.
Yeah, it's no sense. You're right. So I think we found some money, Enrique, there as well, as you mentioned.
Well, guys, we are hitting almost the hour, and we have so many things to talk. We've been talking, but just as a quick chat for the last part, we also prepared is about a very important thing. We'll see. Sergio was talking about many companies that approach BuildingSMART Spain for assessment and help about the implementation. I want to highlight the role of the public administration. So, you can share with us, Sergio, how BuildingSMART Spain we put here between government, like public consultancy for the public administration body. How do you help, if any of those people who come to you are the public administration, and what is the role of that?
Yeah. Okay, we have to think that, for example, in Spain, the public administration is a very big dinosaur. It isn't okay. I don't want to compare, but it's curious because some months ago we invited to an event to Jan Saar from the Estonian government. So it seems everything is wonderful in Estonia. Is digitalized all the processes from the public sector, and that's very, very difficult in a very big country like Spain, with different levels in the public administration at national, regional, or local level. So with a no clear digital strategy, that's true. So we are, I think, an important support for the public administrations in Spain related to construction sector, in order to explain them how to introduce in a good way, how to introduce BIM requirements in the public tenders, how to support the private sector too, because it's not only about to demand BIM tomorrow. So you need to support the private sector. You need to change the universities. Probably you need to make a lot of things in parallel in order to help the private sector to innovate, and we try to support that kind of public administration. So we cooperate in different committees. We are open to review their manuals in order to give them our point of view, or if we miss something. So we are not analyzing which are the information requirements of a public client. So they must know that. So we only explain them that they need to define information requirements. So which information requirements? Probably you should know what are your information requirements. And if you don't know, you have to analyze them. And so I want to put you an example. Some months ago, I was invited by a ministry in Spain in order to talk about the BIM benefits, and they have many buildings in different countries, and they have to manage all these buildings. So I asked them, okay, do you have any kind of Excel file only with information about which are your assets in different buildings, and say, no, we don't have. So, okay, if an air conditioning equipment, you need to replace them, you have some information about which is the power of this equipment, or who puts you this equipment. No, we don't have this information. So, okay, you need to define your process, you need to define your information requirements. So when you have defined them, probably we will make another meeting in order to discuss how BIM can help you. But before, you have to make a lot of things before. So you have to think in order that you need to manage your assets. So we make that kind of support. It's not a consultancy support of implementing BIM. It's just to explain why it's so important to define your information requirements, to define your information process. So that's, I think, the most important that we can do with the public sector in order to increase the size of the BIM market too. So it's true that in our organization we have a lot of engineering firms, contractors, and architects. So if we explain and we convince the benefits about to digitalize the asset management for this public administration, at the end, there will be more tenders with BIM requirements.
I think, Sergio, you really summarized it very well, the whole our discussion today, because we started from the really just looking at the different transformation factors and the willingness, etc. And I think you really just pointed in the very well at the end, saying, okay, the whole BIM, it's important, but you need to have some basic, you need to have some prerequisites, because otherwise it's just, we can be only talking about it. But if you know this basic, you talk about the assets, you talk about the inventories, and etc. I think that's really the key elements which we need to look at. And I think it's really summarized our discussion very well today.
Yeah, agree. Well, Sergio, 1 minute and a half to go for the hour. That's what we promise you. We will take care from your time, so don't take any more. I think anything else you want to add, or
thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, because I think that a very important thing for us is to just to disseminate what we do, to explain how it's important to analyze why to do things. So it's not only to do things without a good analysis before. And I think that you are a great channel to disseminate what we do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So just do not forget, guys. Thank you very much, Sergio, for being with us. Do not forget just to subscribe, just to come over. We already have, I think, more than 5,000, 6,000 right now on the LinkedIn subscribers to the newsletter. We're still working with Enrique just to get a little bit more higher on the YouTube. This is the challenge for the next 4 months for us. We started from 0 on the beginning of the year. We're just right now going for the increase. So do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube. And again, once more, Sergio, thank you very much for your good comments, great conversation. Really appreciate. I hope we will have a chance to have a real cafe together in the real life in the summer.
Totally, yeah.
Please.
Next couple of weeks and months. Okay?
It will be nice. Thank you.
As Peter said, thank you so much. Guys, have here the link if you want to quickly direct to our channel. I appreciate your time, Sergio. Thank you so much for doing this in English. Help us to make it wider and participate all of us. So a real thank you from us, and hope to see you soon again. Any of the events happening in Spain around the world, and we wish you a very good day. So.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.
Ciao.